Just gonna do it. Sometimes you gotta do it and just learn to realize that it was a mistake and then move forward. Hello, welcome back. If you're a subscriber, you must come back often, and I thank you for that. If you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. It's just that button, this red down below. Unless it's like, I don't know, 10 years later and YouTube has totally rebranded and that's not a color that they use anymore, or that's not even a button, or YouTube doesn't even exist. Could you imagine? Anyway, I hope you all have had a great day so far. Maybe it's the end of your day or just the beginning, either way. Hoping for good things for you. Today, for my blog post, I focus a lot on humor. I love funny things. I love comedies, top pick genre for me, for TV shows and movies even. And I need humor in the book. Typically, the book character that's the funny character will be my favorite. And even like as early as 5th grade, I remember thinking as a kid, I gotta be funny. Like I gotta meet that standard. So humor has been important to me my whole life. Love telling jokes, love getting jokes, but sometimes people take jokes a little too far. Sometimes their jokes aren't really jokes. Or they are, or they aren't, and you can't tell. And then it's worse. I definitely have had people in my life where they joke about something and it's like, oh, okay, ha ha ha, yeah. And then they joke about something else, ha ha, and then another thing is ha. And then it's like, okay, these feel more like jabs than jokes at that point, right? Yeah. So I wrote a blog post about humor and where the line is with it, or experiences that I have had where I felt people cross the line and how that impacted me. It's a really short background. I guess that's just how I'm doing it nowadays. Just get them out there. This blog was posted April 25th, 2022. Blog title, I'm just teasing you. Who else lives here for humor? For me, jokes give my heart a reason to beat and my mind a reason to rejoice. Comedy has recovered me from many sorrows that held me down in the past. Comedy television shows stood by my side when no one else would or could. Now, you all know I love God, and I give him credit for helping me, but I'm pretty sure God would agree with me on this. The world needs laughter. And in that way, the world needs comedy. I like to make others laugh. In fact, I get so excited at my attempts that I'm usually laughing at my own jokes before anyone else's, like I just did right now. Humor has my heart so much that it's become even a love language of mine. As a girl, I used to constantly tease those I had a crush on, a trait that I must have learned from my family, who teased one another frequently. As I grew up, teasing became a tool I relied on. Unfortunately, I eventually learned that this multi-purpose tool can help or harm. As a teenager, I read something about this in a church magazine once, but at the time I just snickered at their opposition of certain comedic attempts such as sarcasm. Sure, I could see how it could hurt others if taken the wrong way, but come on, was it that bad? Well, let's just say that not all jokes are good. I think many of us can think of a few we've made in the past that make us cringe or regret our witty whim. I've spent time trying to assess the humor that harms and the humor that helps, and I think it comes down to this. Jokes gesturing with a passive-aggressive sword will inevitably seek deep into and wound the unarmed heart. I could talk about the differences between an armed heart and an unarmed heart. It would certainly help improve the situation for those who are more emotionally vulnerable. Even so, we often only know if our heart is armed and cannot know if another heart is protected or not. So I think it's best to address how to yield the weapon instead, and perhaps we'll talk about improving emotional vulnerability another day. That is something I have not talked about yet, but I have learned a lot about within the past half year. Whew! Oh my, do I have things to share. She's always saying that. I'm always saying that. I promise. So much. Anyway, avoiding the use of these wounding war weapons might take more effort than expected. Human nature often forgets others, and it's not common to pause before every witty remark and think, I wonder if this will hurt someone's feelings. Some people even make wit marks just to purposefully put another person down. I made up that word, by the way. Wit marks, witty remarks. This trend to do this is escalating, and that creates confusion about what's okay to say. We have a lot to overcome to find the balance between comedy and kindness. Or I would even say not balance, but to find the right levels of comedy and kindness combined. Over the years, I put effort into sorting through the things I say and kicking out that I'm kidding moments that harmed, not helped. As I did this, I tried to formulate new jokes that didn't put another person down as the punchline. And let me just pause at that phrase there, putting someone in line to get punched. Yikes. Okay. Moving on. Some people might wonder if the effort to do this was necessary. Maybe we don't notice any negative effects of negative humor because we leave our friends before those byproducts silently take place. We don't stay with them 24/7 and observe their internal and external reactions. However, I lived with my husband Josh on a nearly 24/7 basis, and that time together opened my eyes to this issue and the necessity of trying to overcome it. Josh and I both loved to tease each other. Many of our conversations took place in joke format. Yet sometimes our jokes started to increase in seriousness. Someone thinks the other person meant what they said, and sometimes the other person did mean what their passive-aggressive statement expressed. Undoubtedly, any negative humor moments resulted in one or both of us hurting. The more I watched us whimper or whine because of another person's wit mark, the more I noticed a major problem in the pattern. Some of our jokes made the other person look intentionally bad. Take that out and replace it with something that made them look good or didn't even include them, and that helped. This became the difference between joking about someone doing something stupid and joking about someone doing something silly but endearing. Or the difference between repeating that same endearing joke constantly and changing it to a new joke that doesn't involve them to ensure that what was once good didn't eventually go bad. Like guitar strings that were never tuned but still plucked over and over again. If we begin to think of others as we tease or kid around, people will enjoy our presence more and our relationships will strengthen because of this selflessness. Not to mention, as you really start to find the balance between comedy and kindness, or the right amount of levels between the two, it's likely that others will laugh more sincerely and more joyfully because you've lifted their spirits up, not put them down. So watch out for the wit marks you use, and in this way, we can make comedy a happy place for everyone. Ding! Actually, I know it's hard without any examples, so I want to give an example. Let's say someone's flipping a pancake, right? And they're going to flip it, boom, totally mess it up, just like way wacky. You could make a joke like, someone forgot how to use a spatula, or, oh, like, do you need a lesson in Pancake 101? Or something like really funny and like, ha 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 ha, you know, laughing, like teasing, obviously that was a silly thing they did. Or you can make a joke like, oh, I like your technique, very good. Or, oh, I see, you got a special way to do it. That's cool. Like, you know, obviously both play on the fact that it was just a goofy moment, but one is emphasizing you did something bad and the other is, hey, this is just different than what you were going for, but it's not bad. So that's what I was attempting to point out with these jokes. Social media has been interesting to watch because for a long time, it was very obviously a place where a lot of hate could happen. And it's still a place where that happens. You know, people make videos quite frequently where they're straight up mocking another person. All it is pointing out something dumb about them, about what they did. And people make comments a lot about things they disagree with in social media, or making fun of how someone looks or does something, etc., etc. I have noticed more recently than in the past, people also tend to make comments that stick up for others, which just makes my heart warm. So be one of the people that sticks up for others, or just be at least a person who's not going to say anything negative, because then it's one less that's not adding to that huge contribution of things. That said, when we get used to seeing the type of mocking we see on social media, in television, movies, comments, opinion articles, etc., it gets soaked in and we tend to mimic what we see, right? The mirroring effect, especially if you grew up in a family that it was just like secondhand to say something negative about someone. You like, they could have even just been in the room 2 seconds ago and they left to go to the bathroom, and you start to talk dirt on them. For some people, that's a normal thing. However, I wouldn't say that's a good thing. It definitely isn't a great foundation to fall upon for a conversation topic. It's not gonna build trust between people, because you know if you leave the room, they're gonna start talking about you negatively. If you don't know that, now you do. So if you're in that type of family, I'd really encourage you to be the person that's different and to build a family of your own that doesn't do that. However, in the long run, this is just about making efforts to make jokes that are positive and not negative, and showing people that silliness isn't badness. We're all silly in some way, and that's okay. It's okay to be playful and fun. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have other opinions you want to share down below, open to hear them. How have you attempted to conquer this joking thing? Comment like any ideas you have, sarcasm, whatever, because it's not a black and white thing. And I will see you next time. Okay, bye.